We are with Representative Mike Sells for the 38th District. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I am well. So the Senate budget just came out. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, it looks like it's inadequate in terms of the education budget, and two, it takes from other programs and pays for that education budget, much needed programs in the social services area.
So there are a lot of difference between the Senate budget and the governor's budget, and the House hasn't come up with a budget yet, but how do you think that's going to look?
Well, you end up with a lot of negotiations between what they call the five corners, the majority and minorities in both houses and the governor's office, and that takes some time before they can come back with a package. But before that, the House has to pass its own budget. The Senate has to pass its budget today. The governor's already got a budget out there, and people can begin to maneuver and look at both budgets and see where we might be able to have some compromise.
So the governor's budget does fund education in accordance with the McCleary decision.
Right.
But it also has a revenue package of some sort, and the Senate doesn't.
No, the Senate robs Peter to pay Paul, essentially, finding what they think are savings, but they're not savings. In the long run, they're going to cost us more, and trying to catch up with what we didn't fund.
Okay. And then the other question I wanted to ask you, there are a lot of stories out there and a lot of blogs and a lot of comments about the Facebook issue. Please explain what happened so that we can all understand what the issue was with that bill.
Well, we had a great Senator Hobbs bill limiting the ability of businesses to get Facebook passwords from employees to look into their accounts. And it was a good bill. A business came to me and they said essentially they'd like an amendment because they have a situation where there's proprietary knowledge or they have to do due diligence in an investigation. They'd like to amend it. And I said, we're at cutoff and we're at a very short time. So if you'll write up the amendment, we'll consider it, put my name on it so we can put it in the book to look at it. They did that. They worked with the prime sponsor. They brought it back. We looked at it, both sides of the aisle, Republicans and Democrats, and said, no, this is just too broad and it's inadequate, and we pulled the amendment and passed the regular bill out.
All right, so the fact that your name was attached to the amendment does not mean that you supported that idea.
No, it was just a device to make sure it got out there and we had it in front of us. Otherwise, it would have been floating around somewhere in the ether.
And what was it that that amendment did?
Well, it gave them broader access rights to look inside the password. The problem with it is they talked about not only employees but prospective employees, and the definitions around when they could do it were just too broad.
And this is why you then withdrew it?
Yes. At this point, the bill is in rules. I've told the business interests and the civil libertarian interests they need to work together to see if they can come to some kind of compromise.
Well, thank you very much, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you very much.